In this video, I want to talk to you a little bit about writing your body paragraphs for your Julius Caesar argument paper, which, as you remember, the prompt for that is who is the best leader in the play, and you're writing an argument paper presenting reasons and evidence for who you believe to be the best leader. Again, there's no right or wrong answer, you just have to persuade your reader. So why would I be talking about body paragraphs first? Well, the thing about it is, and this is true of almost all papers that you may write, a lot of times it's easier to write your body paragraphs first. That seems counterintuitive to a lot of people because people always feel like they need to start at the beginning and get that introduction written first. But the problem with the introduction is that sometimes people find it harder to write because that's where you have to, give your background information and come up with your thesis, and sometimes that's hard. And how do you make it interesting? How do you hook your reader? So really I find that most students feel that the introduction and the conclusion paragraphs are the hardest to write. So why start there? I actually really encourage you to start with your body paragraphs. Because for one thing, your body paragraphs, you have that information if you fill in your graphic organizer. The graphic organizer has a place for you to put the qualities of leadership you want to write about, the quotes you're going to use, and an explanation of how those quotes demonstrate the quality. So if you fill in your graphic organizer first, as you should, that's your pre-writing, that's your brainstorming, that's your outline, you have pretty much everything you need to write your body paragraphs. So it's easier to just jump into the main, the meat of your essay, if you will, and just do those body paragraphs first. I wanted to give you an example of how you take this information that you put on your graphic organizer and transfer that and write it in the form of a complete paragraph. And it's pretty simple. You pretty much have everything you need. So this is just an example. You do not have to choose Brutus as your leader, okay? But for the sake of writing an example paragraph, I've chosen Brutus. And for quality of leadership, you have your list of qualities that you've brainstormed, that we brainstormed together at the beginning of the play. You can use one of those, you can choose something different, or you can make it more specific. So here, I used the quality thoughtfulness, but I made it more specific by saying thoughtfulness before making decisions. The quote that I'm using is what you said I will consider, what you have to say I will with patience hear, and find a time both meet to hear and answer such high things. And of course that is Brutus saying that at the very beginning of the play, where Cassius has been trying to convince him that Caesar's not going to be a good leader. And then my explanation is that when presented with a situation that could change Roman politics completely, again, that idea that Cassius presents that, maybe we don't need Caesar. He's not quick to make his decision. He tells Cassius he will consider it thoroughly and get back to him, okay? So I did write complete sentences here in my graphic organizer, and of course this is not the form that your graphic organizer came in, but these are the same things, the same sections that you would be writing down, okay? So when you get your graphic organizer filled out, you have a lot of information, okay? You'll have to add some things because here you have this quote and it's not introduced, okay? And hopefully we know at this point that a quote can't stand alone by itself like this. Okay, so you're going to have to add some things. You're going to have to make all of these phrases and quotes complete sentences or part of complete sentences. Okay, but you pretty much have everything you need. Here is the paragraph I wrote using this information. Okay, it says that one of the many qualities of leadership that Brutus demonstrates is care and consideration when making tough decisions. When presented with a decision that could completely change Roman politics, he was not too quick to act. He tells Cassius, what you said I will consider, what you have to say I will with patience hear, and find a time both meet to hear and answer such high things, in text citation period. Brutus was level-headed about the situation and did not let his emotions get the best of him. Instead of making a rash decision, he thought it through first. Okay, a few things I want you to notice here. I did add some things that I did not have here, okay? I changed the wording of my quality a little bit. I said care and consideration instead of thoughtfulness. Okay. Another thing to notice here is that I have a topic sentence that refers to the thesis. Okay. Now we're doing body paragraphs, so we don't actually have our thesis yet, right? But based on our topic of the paper, we know we are talking about leadership, qualities of leadership, and who's the best leader. Okay, so by writing here that one of the many qualities of leadership that Brutus demonstrates, I've kind of introduced this paragraph using the overall topic of the paper. Okay, here I've used some of the language from my graphic organizer for the explanation, okay? And honestly, as I'm looking at this paragraph now, later, there's some things I might change about it. I don't really give a lot of context for the quotation. If this was your paragraph, you might want to say here, where he tells Cassius, you could give some background and say, when Cassius talks to Brutus about his feelings about Caesar, and they have the discussion about whether Caesar is actually good for Rome, Brutus is not too quick to act. Okay, so you could add some things here. It's not a perfect paragraph, but I've taken this information, I've used all of it, and I've made a body paragraph out of it. I didn't have to add very much. I did add a little bit here at the end. Brutus was level-headed about the situation and did not let his emotions get the best of him. I've just kind of added a little bit to what I said here, changed the wording. But you can see that, honestly, I had most of what I needed. I added very little content. It's just getting this content in the form of a paragraph. Okay, which is again why I suggest writing your body paragraphs first, because you have the bulk of what you need once you've done your graphic organizer, and then when you have these body paragraphs, it will make it easier to write an introduction and a conclusion based on what you already have here. Hopefully this will help you in coming up with your body paragraphs, using your graphic organizers, and transferring that information into a well-written paragraph.